Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Put Me in Coach podcast and YouTube channel. My name is Herbert Finner, and I am your host. Yesterday, we started on a lesson just practicing, and we was talking about the importance of practicing when it comes to achieving mastery. We talked about the importance of practicing when it comes to focusing on consistency, dedication, as well as improvement. Today, we want to continue on this lesson about practicing. And we're going to look at the role of practice as it pertains to success. One of the quotes that I quoted yesterday was from Aristotle. And Aristotle said that we are what we repeatedly do. He says that excellence then is not an act, but excellence is a habit. So if what Aristotle is saying is true, that means that this principle also applies to failure, and that failure is not an act, but also a habit. Yes, my friend, failure is also a habit. But what is a habit? A habit is defined as a usual way of doing things. Yes, the usual way of doing things. Do you have a usual way of doing things? A way that may be comfortable, a way that may be convenient, however, is a way that is not necessarily effective. We're talking about habits. And we're going to look at the role of practice as it pertains to success. But once again, my friend, do you have a usual way of doing things? Because that's what a habit is. Doing the same things. And to take it a step further, a habit can also become a mental health issue. Yes, because it's been said that insanity, or the definition of insanity, is doing the same things, expecting different results. And oftentimes, my friend, we have habits and we do the same thing and we expect to get different results. So, once again, Aristotle says that excellence is not an act, but excellence is a habit. A habit, my friend, that can be developed. A habit, my friend, that can be formed. Also, as we also stated, that failure is also not an act, but failure, my friend, is also a habit. So when you look at your life right now, if there's an area in your life that you may not be succeeding in, if there's an area in your life that you believe that you may be failing in, then you have to ask yourself the question: what is my habit? What is my discipline? What is my practice? What are the things that I continue to do to get the results that I continue to get? And if you don't want those results anymore, my friend, if you don't want to be considered as a failure, then it's important, it's imperative that you change habits. And we're going to look at that today. We're going to talk about changing habits. And the way we change habits is that we practice new habits. So we're going to talk about the role of practice as it pertains to success. The first thing is that practice, my friend, it should be deliberate. Practice should be intentional. It's not about repetition, but about practicing with intentions and focusing on improvement. Yes, it's not just about repetition. It's not just about, you doing the same thing over and over and over again, but it's about you being intentional. It's about you focusing on improvement. Because if you're practicing something, if you're doing something over and over and over again, it is not improving you, if it's not making you better, then you practicing bad habits. So practice, my friend, has to be deliberate. If you're going to achieve success, if you're going to achieve excellence, then you have to be intentional. It has to be something that's done deliberately, my friend. Something that you're focusing on, an area in which you are improving in. So the first thing to practicing or to achieving success is being deliberate when it comes to our practice. When you get up in the morning, you should be working on something. You should be practicing something. Yesterday, we talked about some of the greats, and we talked about Michael Jordan and how Michael Jordan had serious work ethics. His practice skills, his practice ethics was off the charts. I mean, this guy would practice for hours and come back and practice for more, practice even more. And we see the results of his practice. We see the results of his commitment. We see the results of his dedication. But his practice is deliberate. His practice is intentional. What about your practice? As it pertains to your dreams and the things and what you're trying to achieve in life, are you being intentional? Are you being deliberate? Or are you ducking practice? Yes, are you ducking practice? Because one thing about ducking practice, it's going to show up in the arena of life. Yes, my friend, when we duck practice, it shows up. When we take shortcuts, it shows up. So you don't want to duck practice because practice, my friend, has a purpose. It's a purpose for why we practice. We practice first and foremost because we're not good. We practice so that we can get better. We practice so that we can become great. No, we don't practice so that we can become perfect, but we practice, my friend, so that we can become better. So, how is your practice? Are you deliberate in practicing your craft? Are you deliberate in doing the things that you have to do so you can do the things that you want to do? And practice, my friend, is something that you have to do if you want to get in the game. If you want to show up, if you want to excel, if you want to be great, then you can't duck practice because practice is essential to your growth and your success. So be deliberate when it comes to your practice. Be intentional. Focus on improvement. Focus on growth. Focus on the things that's not working. Focus, my friend, on getting better. But I want you to have a practice mindset. I want you to say to yourself, this I am today, but through practice, that I will be tomorrow. You're not going to find anyone, my friend, who's great who didn't practice. And I mean practice, practice, and practice some more. So be deliberate, be intentional about your practicing. Read, study. They say that repetition is the mother of all learning. Continue to repeat it over and over again. And don't repeat the things, my friend, that's not working. Only repeat that which is working. Only practice the areas that's allowing you to get better, allow you to get stronger. Practice, my friend, on your strengths and practice on your weakness. The next concept is patience and persistence. Because success, as we all know, it doesn't come overnight, but practice requires patience and a commitment to long term improvement. Yes, practice, my friend, is just like planting a seed. When you plant a seed in the ground, you're not going to plant the seed in the ground and tomorrow morning come outside and that seed is going to produce, it's going to grow. It doesn't work that way because it takes patience, it takes time. And then you have to give yourself the time, you have to have the patience, you have to do it every day. I mean, every single day. But it requires for you to be patient and it requires for you to be committed. Yes, because without commitment, my friend, nothing happens. So I want to ask you a question today. Are you patient in your practice? Are you committed in your practice? Are you really being patient? Are you giving yourself the time that you need for you to get better? Are you giving yourself the time that you need in order for you to grow? Don't forget, my friend, that nobody starts off good. We all need time. And the more time you spend practicing, the better you're going to become. So don't neglect practice. Don't become impatient with practice. Sometimes we have to step away from something that we're practicing. Sometimes we get frustrated because it seems like things may not be working as fast as we want it to be working. Seems like we may not be getting it as fast as we may want to get it. But that's why we need patience. We need patience because patience is going to allow us the time that we need to develop. Rome, my friend, wasn't built overnight. Michael Jordan didn't become a success overnight. The Williams sisters didn't become a success overnight. Oprah Winfrey didn't become a success overnight. No one who have achieved greatness at any level, it didn't happen overnight. It took time. It took patience. It took persistence. And it took commitment. So I need you to be patient with yourself because growth, my friend, is a process and it requires time. So be patient. Give yourself the time that you need to practice so that you can become better and that you, my friend, can become great. The next concept that we're going to look at is growth through practice because each practice sessions it builds on the last. Yes, it builds on the last, leading to incremental growth and mastery over time. But it takes time. Practice, my friend, incremental growth, building on the last practice, gaining momentum as you practice, being consistent as you practice, being persistent in your practice. Yes, my friend, we're talking about practice. Looking at key concepts as it pertains to your practice. One, being deliberate in your practice. Two, being patient and persistent in your practice. And three, growing through your practice. Because that's how we grow. That's how we get better. By spending time on our craft, spending time in the areas that we may be weak in, spending time in the areas that we may be strong in, but we know that we can get stronger. We know that we, my friend, can get better. So, what are you practicing today? Is your practice leading you to success, or is your practice leading you to failure? What is your practice leading you to? How are you practicing? What are you practicing? And I want you to think about that today, my friend. Once again, Aristotle, he says, we are what we repeatedly do. Yes, what you repeatedly do is what you become. Excellence is not an act. Excellence is not a one-time thing. It's not something that you did one time. It's not one-time accomplishment. It's not one-time achievement. But excellence, my friend, is a habit. And a habit Are you comfortable in your growth? Or do you feel like you need more practice? When it comes down to your profession, when it comes down to your career, when it comes down to your job, do you feel like you need more practice? Do you feel like that you, my friend, can get better? When it comes down to your relationship, when it comes to being a husband, and it comes to being a father and being a mother, when it comes to being a wife, do you feel like you need more practice? Feel like that you can be better when it comes to being a parent? When it comes to being a friend, do you feel like you need more practice when it comes to friendship? Listen, my friend, nobody starts off good, but the way that we become good, the way that we become great is by practicing. And practice, it doesn't make perfect, but practice, it does make improvement. And if you're ready to improve, my friend, then I would encourage you to practice. Yes, I would encourage you, my friend, to practice. Be deliberate in your practice, be patient and persistent in your practice, and look for opportunities to grow while you are practicing. I want y'all to be great today. I want y'all to be inspired today. This is Put Me in Coach. Yes, it's your story, my friend. And I want you to continue to rewrite your story. Continue to be inspired. Yes, the pen to your story is in your hands. It's your story. Yes, you are the author. You can rewrite the script to your story. But all it takes is just a little practice. Practice today, my friend, and y'all be great. God bless.